Playing with Power MTG. Powerful cards, powerful formats. Before we get into tonight's game, I wanted to ask a question. Do you have extra cards lying around that you don't use? Want to buy or trade for some extra cards but don't know how to maximize the value? Then you should try out today's sponsor, Card Conduit. Card Conduit is the best service when it comes to selling your extra cards. They have three main services. Their standard service lets you send them your unsorted cards of any value. They will sort, grade, and give you the best price for your cards. Their curated service is similar. Send them your unsorted cards worth over $1 in value. They will charge half the fee of the standard service and charge no fee per card. Their sorted service is a great value as well. Choose cards in advance with their selection tool, send them sorted to Card Conduit, and they will grade and buy list them automatically. Save yourself the time of having to send to multiple sites and let Card Conduit do it instead. Their fee is only 2% with no fee per card. So give Card Conduit a try today. If you sign up with my link in the description below or use the promo code POWER, you will also get 10% off of their fees when you use their service. A big thanks to Card Conduit for sponsoring today's video.
Hi everyone, Zach here. I'm going to be piloting Blue-Black Paradoxical Outcome. This is an artifact-based deck that tries to abuse the 0 mana artifacts that generate mana with Paradoxical Outcome to draw a bunch of cards and generate mana, and then also using Tinker to find Bolas' Citadel to use that in conjunction with Sensei's Top to then generate infinite turns with Time Vault or create large constructs through Urza and Urza Saga.
All right, hey everyone, Matt Sperling here. I've got Aggro Shops today. This is a Mishra's Workshop deck that looks to use powerful lands to put out powerful artifacts and use stack pieces and some aggressive artifacts to slow down the game and then end it. I've decided to keep my first 7 on the play. All right, good luck.
You as well.
I'll start things off with Mox Emerald, Soul Ring. Okay, I'll tap Soul Ring and play Null Rod. This is what we call a combo.
I'm going to respond to Null Rod, Pale Life casting Force of Will, exiling Brainstorm.
All right, I'll play an Ancient Tomb and pass the turn.
All right, draw. I'm going to cast a Mox Emerald of my own, cast Soul Guide Lantern. I'll exile your Null Rod. Follow up with a Mox Opal. For blue, I'm going to cast Repeal for 0, targeting my Mox Opal. Resolves, bounces to my hand, I will draw a card.
Baby PO.
Baby PO. I'll recast the Mox Opal and pass the turn.
All right, untap. Draw. I'll play Urza Saga. It'll go to chapter 1. I'll take 2, I go to 18. I'll cast a Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. It's gonna be Urza Saga, another copy, also at chapter 1. I'm gonna cast a Mox Sapphire and pass the turn.
I will untap, upkeep, draw. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass the turn.
Upkeep and draw. These will go to chapter 2 each. Swing for 3.
I take 3, going to 16.
I'll cast a Nettle Cyst. I'll play my land, a Strip Mine, and I'll pass the turn.
I'll go to my turn, untap, upkeep, draw. I'll tap Mox Emerald here for Mana Vault. 3, 4, Paradoxical Outcome, targeting all of my artifacts.
You got it. I have no cards in hand. You're good to go.
I'll pick up these 4. I'll draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll cast Mox Emerald, Mox Sapphire, Mox Opal, 1 here for the Mana Vault. So I'll have a colorless flooding. I'm going to cast Tinker, sacking Mana Vault. All right, I'll get a Manifold Key into play. Play an island for my land, cast Time Vault. Then I'm going to activate Key to untap Time Vault. Then tap Time Vault to take an extra turn, and then present infinite turns.
We can shortcut to whoever you decide to kill me. Just show me what you got.
It's just gonna be like Urza Saga, or just get actual Urza into play. Yeah, that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah, no, you got it. Infinite turns, that'll work. I'll play Mishra's Workshop. I'll have 1 artifact mana floating and play a Null Rod. Mox Sapphire, pass the turn.
Alright, untap, upkeep, draw. I'm gonna play an Underground Sea and cast a Mana Vault. I'll pass the turn.
I'll Wasteland Underground Sea. I'll cast Phyrexian Revoker. And I'll name Mana Vault, I guess. I'll pass.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Scalding Tarn. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass the turn.
Draw for my turn. Attack for 2 with the Revoker. I'll play a Tolarian Academy and pass the turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. I'll pass the turn.
Attack for 2. Play another Workshop and a Golos. Golos triggers. We'll take the Urza Saga approach and put a Saga out, go to chapter 1 on that. I'll pass the turn.
I'll draw it. Okay. Ooh, that was almost it. I continue to pass the turn.
Draw. Saga goes to chapter 2. Attack for 5 this time. Ancient Tomb, land per turn, pass the turn.
Yeah, end of your turn, I'm gonna crack my my turn. Okay, I'll get a basic island. Then go to my turn. Draw. I'll pass the turn.
And then we'll make a construct. Draw, respond to the trigger, making another construct with summoning sickness. It'll go to 3. I'll sacrifice the Urza Saga. I will go get a soul ring, and then I'm gonna attack for 7, 10, 12.
And I am at 10 life. You got it. Okay, Zach here for sideboarding. I'm going to take out 3 Flusterstorms. I don't think they have any targets in his deck. If they do, it's very few and far between. I'm going to bring in some Hurkyl's Recalls, 3 of them to be exact. Bouncing all artifacts that a player controls is good for myself and good for like bouncing my own things, and then also bouncing all of my opponent's things as well. It's pretty much just a one-sided board wipe, I believe, in this matchup here. And yeah, that's all I'm going to do.
All right, over on my side, I'm going to take out the Wormcoil Engine and 4 of these Foundry Inspectors that I don't need to go that wide. I just need like something to clock, but I don't need like everything that goes. And then I'm going to bring in 3 Grafdigger's Cage in order to potentially prevent a creature from being tinkered out, or an Oath of Druids, that type of thing. And 2 Mindbreak Traps, especially on the draw. Just give me something to potentially stop a really overpowered start. And again, I don't think I'm sacrificing too much, since I'm usually not going to be facing a ton of like removal or blockers, so I don't need to go super wide onto the board. So that's my swap.
I'm gonna start off by paying 2 life and casting Gitaxian Probe.
I've got 2 Spheres of Resistance, a Trinisphere, a Nettle Cyst, a Stonecoil Serpent, a Soul Ring, and an Urza Saga.
And I will draw for that Gitaxian Probe. Urza Saga, Mana Crypt. I'm gonna cast a Black Lotus. Tap for 1 here. Cast Soul Guide Lantern. I'll enter and I will have to exile my Gitaxian Probe. Yeah, and then I'm going to pass the turn.
I'll draw for my turn. Urza Saga, Chapter 1. I'll play Soul Ring.
I'm gonna respond, casting Force of Will, exiling Brainstorm, losing a life, paying a life.
I'll pass the turn.
Upkeep, Mana Crypt, damage on odds. Take 3, I got a 14. Draw for the turn. Trigger Saga on main phase, get a 2nd chapter. Cast a Mox Opal, and then pass the turn.
Draw, I'll go to Chapter 2. I'll play an Urza Saga. It goes to Chapter 1. I'll play a 2/2 Stonecoil Serpent. I'm done.
End of your turn, I'm going to activate Urza Saga to create Construct. Upkeep, Crypt, damage on odds. That's an odd. Or no, it's a 6. It's even. Draw for the turn. Trigger on the stack. I'm going to hold priority and activate it, creating another construct. Sacrifice Saga. I'm going to get a Pithing Needle. I'm going to name Urza Saga. I'll go to combat, swinging with a 7/7.
I go 13.
That's the turn.
Draw. This goes to Chapter 2. Float of Colorless. This goes to Chapter 3. This I'll get Mana Crypt. I'll play Nettle Cyst. Token. Play a 1/1 Stonecoil Serpent. And pass the turn.
Upkeep, Crypt, damage on odds. It's odd. I'll take 3, going to 11. Draw for the turn. I'll have a colorless floating here. I'm going to cast Hurkyl's Recall, targeting you. Bounces all artifacts. With 1 floating, I'll cast a Manifold Key. Get a combat. Swing for, I think, 16.
Yep, I die. Alright, so in addition to the sideboard changes I made before, on the play, I'm actually taking out these 3 Stonecoil Serpents. I'm going to bring in the Chalice of the Void, which I like on the play, and then 2 Foundry Inspectors are coming back in. Help me get out of the gate and use the cost reduction system on the play. And the other changes are, I guess 2 of those are being undone, but the rest of the changes are still there. So there's still 2 Foundry Serpent and Wormcoil Engine in my sideboard as well, in exchange for 2 Mindbreak Traps, and I got some Grafdigger's Cages as well still in here. I will play Ancient Tomb, tap it, I go to 18. I'll play Sphere of Resistance.
Yeah, that happens.
I'll pass the turn.
I will draw. I'm going to play an Island. And I'll cast a Mox Emerald for 1 mana. Mox Sapphire for 1 mana. Mox Opal for 1 mana. And I'll pass.
Draw. I'll play Wasteland. I'll take 2 more from my 82. I go to 16. I'll play Null Rod. And if that resolves, I'll pass the turn.
Draw. I'll pass the turn.
Draw. Land. I'll play 4. I'll pay 2 more. I go to 14. I'll play Trinisphere.
The old 3-ball, that happens.
I'll pass.
Draw for the turn. Yeah, pass the turn. I can't do anything.
Draw. Take another 2. I go to 12. Play a Foundry Inspector and pass the turn.
Draw. Pass the turn.
Untap. Draw. Back for 3 with Foundry Inspector. Alright, I will pay 4 mana. Take 2. I go 10. Is a Chalice of the Void for 2, which Sphere makes cost 5, but Foundry Inspector makes cost 4. Transfer doesn't affect. So I'll go ahead and get that out there for 2 and pass the turn.
We'll draw. I don't think there's anything in my deck that deals with this now. Yeah, I have some sort of outs, I guess, but well, they're very slim. I'm gonna pass the turn.
Draw. Okay, this will seal the deal. 3. I'll take another 2, go to 8. I'll play a Nettle Cyst and make a Germ token and pass the turn.
Draw. I'm gonna move to my discard and discard the Paradoxical Outcome.
Okay. Untap, draw, swing for 9.
Yep, I got a 5.
Pass the turn.
All right, draw. Not quite. Not quite it. All right. I concede. I can't cast anything in my hand. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to play an Urza Saga. It'll get its first counter, war counter. Cast a Mox Emerald, cast a Mox Pearl, Mox Opal. I will then pass the turn.
Alright, I will draw for my turn. I'll play a Mox Jet, Pithing Needle.
Ooh, Pithing Needle. Yeah, I'm gonna force that one. Hanging Alive, pitching Harkle's Recall.
I'll play Strip Mine, strip your Urza Saga.
Turtle.
Sapphire and pass the turn.
Okay. Draw. Pay 2 life and probe.
Okay, I have Tolarian Academy, Nettle Cyst, Urza Saga.
I'll play Urza Saga. It'll get counter and then I'll pass.
Untap, keep draw. I'll play Urza Saga. Goes to chapter 1. I'll cast a Nettle Cyst. Provided that resolves, I'll make a Germ token and say go.
Untap, upkeep, draw. This will get its first counter. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass the turn again.
Untap, upkeep, draw. I will go to 2 counters on my Urza Saga. Play Tolarian Academy. I'll make a Construct token. I'll tap Academy for 4. I'll play Karn the Great Creator.
That's one-sided Null Rod, right?
Correct. Yep.
I'll respond. Tap for 4. I'll cast Paradoxical Outcome, targeting my 3 artifacts.
Resolve.
Pick these up. Draw 3 cards. Did not get there. Yeah, that resolves.
Activate its -2 ability to search my exile and sideboard for an artifact card and put it into my hand. I'll get a Crucible of Worlds into my hand from my sideboard. Crucible of Worlds goes in my hand, and then this Germ is going to attack you for 4. Pass the turn.
Tap up, keep, draw. The Saga will trigger. I will float a colorless mana and sacrifice it. Is there anything I can do? I'll tutor out a Black Lotus. Nothing says I can't cast these. I'm gonna cast a Mox Sapphire, cast a Mox Pearl, cast a Mox Emerald, cast a Mox Opal. I'll cast another Mox Opal, sacrificing this one to Legend Rule, cast a Mana Vault, and then I'll pass the turn.
Okay, so I think I got you then this turn. Let me see how to do it the right way. Okay, draw for my turn. Trigger Urza Saga. In response, trigger make a construct with summoning stick. Trigger the Saga. Go get my Soul Ring. Play Sphere of Resistance. Play Crucible. I will put my Strip Mine in play from the graveyard. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 artifacts. So I'll come in for 16.
You got it.
All right, good games. That was a good 5-game match.